Before we take a look at balancing chemical reactions, we need to understand what is a chemical reaction and how do we decide whether something is reacting chemically. A chemical reaction is a chemical change. So that means that atoms and or ions are going to combine in new ways. There's a variety of ways that we can tell whether a chemical reaction has occurred. We can look at a variety of evidence of this chemical reaction. We can look for a change in color. Typically, this change in color will be something that doesn't match, color combining. So like if you combine a red liquid and a blue liquid and you get a purple liquid, that might be a chemical reaction, but it could just be that you combined a red and a blue liquid and now you've got both red and blue in there and it makes purple. So you want to make sure and be careful about whether there's another explanation for a color change. A formation of a gas, so this could be, bubbles. You want to make sure that you're clear on whether it's forming a gas when you combine these, different chemicals, or whether you are heating something and making it boil. Remember, boiling is a physical change. It's not a chemical one. So do be careful, that these can be distinguished. Formation of a solid. Now, if you see an actual solid that drops out of the solution, so you see a liquid and then, a solid forms on the bottom of your container, that tends to be fairly obvious. But there's also if you get something turning cloudy. So if you have something forming a cloudy substance, or you take something that is very clear, you can see right through it, and it turns cloudy or turgid, it's evidence that you have formation of a solid going on and that there's a chemical reaction happening. Also, if it produces heat or absorbs heat. So if you are holding a container or you're around a container and you feel heat formed off of it, then that's a chemical reaction. If you feel heat absorbed off of it, so if you touch it and it starts feeling cold to you, then that's also evidence of a chemical reaction. Now, there's 4 different ways we're going to look at chemical reactions, so 4 main classes that we're going to look at. So here's 4 different ways that atoms and ions can combine. This is a very general overview. You have 2 different items that are combining to form one. We'll go over what the different types of reactions are later. You have one that's breaking apart into 2 different things. You have one where you have essentially a partner being traded. So A is trading out B for C. So notice that C is now attached to A and B has separated it out. So this, we'll talk about what these types of reactions are. And this last one where you have 2 different pairs that essentially trade partners. So A is attached to D at the end and C is attached to B. We'll talk about what each of those are later. I've also included a YouTube video of a reaction of sodium and chlorine. I do suggest that you take a look at it and that you view what is going on in this type of reaction.